All right, so this is Meg here with No Shortage, and we are here with the lovely Dani, and she runs a ministry called On Earth or on 82nd Street as it is in heaven, and we're just lucky and blessed to be able to chat with her today. So, it was really cool. Like the first time we heard about you, we were at church, our dog was sick, and we had to take like shifts to go to church because we wanted to stay with the dog. And she had gone up front and shared a bit about her ministry, and we were just so both captivated by it afterwards. We're like, oh my gosh, did you hear about what she was doing? And so we're really excited to be able to talk with you today. So if you wouldn't mind by just starting and sharing about what you're doing on 82nd Street and what this ministry is, that'd be wonderful.
Yes. So it's on 82nd as in heaven, because, Jesus wants us to bring heaven to earth wherever we go. And so 2 blocks straight right there. I am 2 blocks from where girls are being sex trafficked every day. And oh gosh, one morning when we drove out, there were 6 gals out there. And through the years, I've had some education on sex trafficking and how girls are groomed and just all of the horrific things that happen to them. And one day I was driving home from my daughter's house and I saw my first girl out there, and we'd lived here a couple of years, I think. And I just immediately was like, I have to go pray with her. And I just knew I had to. So that's been going on for several years. And so basically, we started off me just going out and praying with the girls. And now I have a friend that makes these beautiful crocheted purses with a really long handle, and we have all kinds of goodies in them. And we have a little booklet that I buy from Treasures, a ministry in California, to girls in strip clubs because they're also groomed. Just another part of the trafficking. And so we give them these purses, and we introduce ourselves and say, hey, we got a little gift for you. We see you, people see you, and we love you. There's people driving by that are praying for you. And we just want you to know you're made in the image of God. God loves you, and he's got a better life for you. And then we ask if we can pray for him. And sometimes they say yes. Pretty much the time they say yes. But some of them will actually say what they want prayer for, and we can pray for them right then and there. And it's just precious. And so that's what we do. And so far, we've given out over 100 purses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool.
Just a few of us ladies. So when you talk ministry, it's just very small.
But I love that. It feels very grassroots and just like something God is just inspiring in your heart. And you said something really powerful off camera before we started. You said that normally you'd be really afraid to go out and kind of interact with people you don't know, and all of those things that come along with that. And you're putting yourself out there. It's vulnerable to a big extent. But you're saying because you feel like God has put this on your heart, you feel a lot of peace going out there
and boldness. That is not me. I'm afraid of everything, right? Most of the time.
Yeah.
But I just in fact, we had the anti-sex trafficking police unit come over and ask him questions and stuff. And I was like knocking on a pimp store window one time. They go, don't interact with pimps, And so I go, oh, okay. And, so anyway, just no fear. I just want to go in there and say, hey, God loves you. You shouldn't be doing this. You have such a great plan. I just want to talk to one of them. So just no fear.
For sure.
I don't know why. I guess that's just the Holy Spirit.
No, I think that's so beautiful. It's just interesting because I feel like since my teens, I've always had such a heart for women who've been sex trafficked.
Oh, I love that.
So it's when I heard what you were doing, and the fact too that it's not some big organized ministry, but that it's just you feel like God put this on your heart and you're practically loving your neighbor. I find that so inspiring. I hope wherever I am that I can go out and just practically love people. And I just love the fearlessness that comes along with when you're doing something God has called you to.
Yes.
And, is this something that you would say you were passionate about before? Or is this just because they're literally your neighbor,
No, yeah. So the way it came about is I started mentoring a gal that was sex trafficked for over 20 years. Wow. And through this relationship of about 5 years of mentoring her, I was blown away by what happens. I had no idea. I had the Pretty Woman idea in my head.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's really hard for me. I don't know why Hollywood makes it look like the girls want to be out there,
Right.
and why they make it look like it's something the
Right.
girls would want to do, because those girls are seeing those movies, and
Yeah.
and they're not brought into it because they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And yes. So wait, your question was, did I? Oh,
I'm
did
trying
I
to remember
always?
what my
So
question
yeah.
was.
So my dear friend Susie,
Mhm.
has a big ministry that she has going on, but we just started talking about it, and I was like, man, I really like to minister to the girls, because we found
Yeah.
out it's the girls that are in the coffee shops,
Mhm.
that are the bikini baristas and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. It's the girls in the strip clubs. We have 3
Wow.
strip clubs in just a couple blocks
Wow.
right here that we go and pray for, and we knock on the
Wow.
doors quite often and give
Yeah.
them purses. And so it's so many different things, from massage parlors that are, you
Yeah.
can tell when you see one of those.
Totally. I've seen quite a few of those
Yeah,
around.
and there's one that I just noticed that was behind
Right.
in the back of a building, and I went,
Right.
"Oh, look at that!" Because we parked to
Yeah.
see a girl. We'll
Mhm.
drive down up and down 82nd when
Yeah.
we can't, make
Yeah.
sure we got out of the car so we can do
Mm.
more territory. But anyway, so really got interested. We took a
Yeah.
class. There's a really, if you're in the Seattle area, there's an amazing ministry called Rest. They are a real nonprofit,
Mhm.
and I got some training there, and they
Okay.
do so much. They're just excellent.
Wow.
And yeah, so
Right.
I was primed, moved from the Seattle area to Portland, and so when I saw that girl out
Yeah.
there, I was
Mm.
like, God has
Yeah.
me ready for this, and I
Yeah.
have to go out.
So you had already done the training before you came down
Yeah,
here? Oh, wow.
yeah, because
That's
we
really
wanted to
cool.
start something, but then we ended up
Yeah.
moving here, and
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's really cool. And because I've been curious about that. Like, there's been times where I've wanted to go out and like pray or interact with somebody that I see, and I feel like God's really putting on my heart, but I feel like afraid, or I feel like, am I actually going to get them in trouble? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or, like, but did your training kind of cover those
Mhm.
things and how to interact with
Oh
that?
yeah. So, you don't want to take a lot of time with them, and you want to go with their clues. If a girl doesn't want to talk to you at all, you don't do anything, because they might be being watched. They
Mm-hmm.
might be being watched by another girl that's kind of the boss girl. And
Yeah.
so there's just so many things that you look for, and you just respect them for what they want or don't
Right.
want, and you just are cautious not to spend too much time.
Yeah.
And a really important thing is you need to be out there consistently, because they need to get to know you and then start to trust you. But
Yeah.
sadly, a thing that's been going on that we keep finding out is one will say, "Oh, I'm from California," or "I'm from Seattle," and I I suspect that there's something much more nefarious going on between, maybe, I don't know if it's LA. They
Right.
always say California, but between Seattle, Portland, and California, and they're moving them back and forth so they can't get to know people.
Oh,
And yeah,
right.
so
Right.
it's yeah, so you just have to be super careful. So yes, trainings,
Right.
Treasures in California, has an
Right.
excellent training,
Yeah.
tons of stuff that they have to do.
Yeah.
So it's really
Right.
important information, because you don't want to just go out there and start
Totally.
and do all
Yeah.
the. And I'm sure I did lots of things wrong to start with anyway, but
Yeah. I mean,
I might not be
very
doing anything right, but
I'm sure you
yeah,
are.
but training is
It's
important.
yeah, it's just interesting because I feel like one of the biggest tactics of the enemy is isolation. So it just
Hmm.
makes sense that like, if a pimp is trying to, or like, a nefarious trafficking group or something is, isolation is going to be like one of the main
Hmm.
tactics that they're going to use. And, it's interesting being in this area, like there's a public library near here and there's
Hmm.
a strip club right next to it.
Hmm.
And I'm like, this is like where children go. And there's just
Hmm.
like a strip club right next to it. And it's very interesting, like how entrenched like the strip scene and like almost like a very, I don't know, like sexualized, like
Hmm.
nefarious sexual stuff,
It
just like in
really is.
this area,
Yeah,
and
well, kind of is, because when Portland was established to begin with, they never ever thought they'd go out as far
yeah,
as 82nd. So
mm,
originally, 82nd is where you could have strip clubs and those type
yeah,
of things. And so,
right,
yeah, and we couldn't quite afford to live closer in. This is
yeah,
what we could afford.
yeah,
And we thought, oh, we're 2 blocks away from 82nd. We'll be okay, which
mm,
we are.
yeah,
But what a beautiful thing that we're here, because
yeah,
I there's no other way I would probably be going down 82nd to go see my daughter. Everything
yeah,
else I kind of go towards the city for.
yeah,
And so that's just a God thing. He
absolutely.
had
It
it
definitely
planned.
seems like a God thing. I watched this YouTube channel called Soft White Underbelly. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but
Yeah.
it's just this guy who like set up a shop, like a video um, filming studio in LA, and he would just have people off the streets just come in and just talk and share their story. It was just really simple, like them just talking to the camera. And it was just interesting because almost all of the people in these videos, my heart breaks because like they've experienced sexual abuse as children, like
Mhm.
almost all of them.
Yep.
And I'm sure for many of the women that you speak to, I'm sure they're not like, "Hey, going back to my childhood," but it just breaks my heart so much how this like abuse was done, and then it just keeps getting like
Yes.
perpetuated.
Well, they're
And
looking for vulnerable
yeah,
girls. They know what to look for,
yeah,
and then they just wine and dine them, and the girl falls in
hmm,
love with them because she's not been loved. She hasn't been loved in
yeah,
her home, and she's been used and abused, and then before she knows it, she's being used and abused by them, but they make all these promises that it seems worth it, and there's a
hmm,
lot of mind games and
yeah.
really, really awful stuff that goes on.
Yeah, like, whatever you feel like sharing, but like what is, because I'm pretty uneducated on it. Like what is kind of the process of how someone gets roped into something like this or manipulated into something
Yeah,
like
there
this?
are a lot of different processes, but the one that it seems like when I listen to girls' testimonies when they get
Yeah.
out, like Rest has some testimonies and stuff, that it's basically what I said. They know who the vulnerable girls are. They can
Yeah.
tell they've been hanging around. And
Yeah.
I think in Portland, it was originally one of the hangouts was Lloyd Center.
Hmm.
And just looking, watching girls moving around, who they're with, and they
Right.
could just kind of tell. And they probably tried it with a lot of girls that want anything to do with them, but
Hmm.
they find that vulnerable one, and
Mm,
they groom
right.
them. And
Wow.
it takes some time, but they
Yeah.
make so much money off of them that,
That's crazy.
and then they also isolate them after that, and they take them away from their families. They promise all this
Yeah.
love and buy them
Right.
gifts. Nobody's bought them gifts. That's why we like to give
Yeah.
them this purse with little gifts in it.
Yeah.
We want to give them something, and we don't want anything in return.
Mm,
We just want
wow.
them to know they're loved, and God
Mm,
loves them.
that's really
And they're
powerful.
made in different girls will say, like the gal, I can't remember her name right now, but that
Hmm.
she is the one that started Treasures, and she worked in a strip club, and she met a gal at a dance class. So she was taking dance classes,
Wow.
and for the most part, they
Yeah.
probably in strip clubs they have a little bit more normal of a
Yeah.
life, but they're still being watched and
Yeah.
groomed. And she
Totally.
said she was, and that this gal gave her a pair of heart earrings, and she just couldn't believe it. And through that relationship with this woman,
Mm,
she went, "Oh, maybe I am worth something," because
wow.
they're just so taught by their
Mhm.
traffickers that they're worth nothing and
Yeah,
nobody's going to take care of you like I'm going to take care of you.
right.
And just on and
Very
on with different
transactional.
things where they only feel safe with this guy, which is just so crazy
Right.
for the things. And they get beaten up so much. So,
That's really hard.
yeah.
Like you're saying that you're going out really regularly to visit these women. Are you saying that you're noticing a pattern of like them kind of shifting in and out of the area, or are there women
Yes.
that you've been able to consistently get to know?
Well, as soon as we consistently get to know them, it seems like they disappear.
Mm,
But by then, we've been able to say the next time, one of the things in Portland that I love to share with them, if they seem more relaxed
yeah,
and not looking nervous or whatever.
yeah.
I just did that with a gal I met for the first time on Monday night. And
Hmm.
um, I tell them if I can say some other things first and they're
Yeah,
still talking with me, that the police in Portland aren't going to arrest them because I'm
right.
sure they're being lied to about that,
Mhm.
and that not only that, they will get them an advocate.
Mm,
And the advocate is from an organization in Vancouver, Washington called Compass,
mhm.
just across the river. And they're completely trained to be able to take care of these girls to get them all the help that they need,
Wow.
which I don't have any
Yeah,
resources for. I mean, I can't do well. I don't know unless the Lord brought me into that.
yeah.
But right now,
Right.
that's we want to use the different organizations
Yeah,
that are around, and
totally.
hope that the girls will reach out. A girl 2 weeks ago told another lady that goes out with us that after the conversation went on, and nobody's ever told this before. We know it, but nobody
Mm,
ever tells us. And she said that um, at the beginning of the conversation, yeah, I just came back from California. I need to make some money,
mhm.
and that because we had seen her before. And then she says, well, towards the end of the conversation, well, actually, they have my kids, and they forced me out here.
Whoa.
And so for me to know that 2 blocks right there, there's this horrible sex trafficking going on, whereas a lot of people always think, oh, those girls want to be out there and they're tramps and they're this and they're that. They were little girls,
Yeah.
and they're being treated like this, and they're fearful. And just the fact that she said that, and then you're able to say, hey, the police can help you out and get you an advocate. And so, our goal is just for them to feel loved, so that they will have the energy to go, oh, I want to get out of this.
Yes. I think it's so beautiful that you are showing them unconditional, non-transactional love. And I'm sure for many of them, that's the first time that they've experienced anything like that. Do you like, how does it, do you leave like your phone number or phone numbers of other people or like,
I've left one of our pastor's phone numbers.
Yeah.
So go to Bridgetown Church, and Chandre, who's one of the justice pastors, gave me a bunch of his cards. And so I was writing the church, times for church. And so now they're going to make me up some that just have the times of church. But yeah, I was told by the police not to give out my number, never to let him in the car. But I did once because I just could not. I mean, I just felt like it was just me that day. Usually I have somebody with me, but that day I was driving by, saw these 2 young girls and had stuff with me and thought, I've got to do this. And the girl didn't even want to talk to one of them, and the other one did. The other one just was so young. So we had to call that in. Had another gal call it in to the anti-sex trafficking unit, because if they look like they're under 18, they could pick them up without any problem at all. They'd have to show them that they were older.
Yeah.
And so, but the other gal, who didn't look a whole lot older than that, she just didn't want anything to do with me. And then but she did take the purse. And so the gal in California says, if they take your gift, because they give out gift bags to the strip clubs, she goes, it's a win if they take it.
Yeah.
And so she took it. So it's a win. Totally. And then I'm going back to my car, and I saw that this little pretty bottle of perfume that was in it fell out, those really pretty samples they have. And I went, oh, wait, you didn't get this sample. And she looked at me, and I ran it back to her, and she goes, oh, I just love this. And it just like touched her heart. And then she goes, hey, will you give us a ride? And it was just such a strong connection that I said, sure.
Yeah.
So she just wanted to drive around the corner, because she was on Sandy, drive around to where they usually are in 82nd.
Yeah.
And so I gave him the whole police spiel in the car. I thought, man, I got them in my car. So I just never stopped. I was talking, like I am right now, really fast and excited. And then she wouldn't even tell me her on the street name.
Wow.
Whereas most girls always will tell you on their street name. And then she was getting out of the car, and she looked at me, because I said I'd be praying for him. And she said, my name is Stephanie.
Oh.
She gave me her real name. And I just was like, that was just such a God moment in it, and I just felt God's safety in that. And I know I'm not supposed to let him get in the car. And it's the only time it's happened, but it might happen again.
Yeah, totally. I think just follow the Spirit's leading, and it makes sense. I mean, like, we helped out with an organization called Night Strike.
Oh, I love Night Strike.
It was
such
incredible.
A great ministry.
Yeah, and they were like, don't give out your phone number to people, just because, like, you never know. Like, I mean, I'm sure most people would be fine, but I'm sure there's some with maybe some people with some sinister intentions, just like there is in any area of the world and whatnot. But I was curious. I was just about to ask you before you started talking about them being underage. Like, do you frequently see like really underage looking girls, or is that more of a rarity?
It's hard to tell. They all seem pretty young.
Yeah.
And I'm just, the older I get, everybody looks so young. Yeah. So, you look 21 to me.
Wow, that's nice.
So I'm not
plus 10.
I can honestly say I am not a good judge of the age of people, but a lot of young girls are out there.
Wow.
And then there's can be some older ones here and there, but most of the time they're pretty young.
Any age, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely,
for sure. And so, can you like describe the purse and like what you?
Oh, I
guys,
should. Yeah, like, I should. Do you want me to go grab one?
It's just, is that okay? Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I think I have some. I've been keeping them with another friend.
No, I think that'd be great. And then afterwards,
that's probably good. I'm getting up because my legs are asleep.
Some close-up shot.
Hey, I'm Luke from No Shortage, and this podcast episode is sponsored by us, me and Meg. We are No Shortage, and we share the stories of how Jesus followers are advancing the kingdom of heaven. If you're enjoying this story and you want to support us, giving it a like's great, and if you think of somebody that would really enjoy it, send it their way. That's also super helpful. We have more stories like this coming with different people that are doing great things, so make sure to follow along so that you don't miss any. Also, the biggest thing you can do for us, I was trying to think of what to say. The best thing that you can do for us is pray for us and pray that we can find the right people, find the right stories that God wants us to share, and make sure that they reach the right eyes and ears that they're supposed to. So I won't take any more of your time here with just looking at my mug, and you can get back to the conversation.
So we took a break, we took a pause to go find the purses, and unfortunately there are no purses, but we can still get a description of the purse.
Well, it's just so funny because Monday night when we went out, we put all the purses in one place, and I always like to keep a couple, but we like to keep them with our most faithful person, Carol. She is just on top of everything and so organized and lets us know when we're short on something, and one of us will order, order more of the things.
Yeah. And so what goes inside the purse? And I remember you showed it on Sunday morning. It was a beautiful purse, and like they're handmade, right?
Yes, my friend and my manager at work makes them. We were talking about it one day, and she goes, "You're doing what?" And she goes, "Well, instead of just a little, I can't even remember what we put them in. What did we put the stuff in?" I think we just handed it. I don't even remember because I started off with candy bars. I'd get candy bars at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
After that first one, I better get some candy bars and give them something sweet. Just like I have to give them a gift. And so it's changed. So I think I mentioned that we do the little treasure booklet. It says, "I am a treasure," and just something for them to know that they're valued because they don't ever get any of that. And then we buy little perfume samples because we like perfume. I mean, it's not acceptable to wear very often anymore these days, but it is for them.
For sure. That's fun.
And then we always have, like in the wintertime, we have really nice chocolates. When we're talking, you can get Costco, you can get those really yummy. What are those round
Oh my
ones?
gosh. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Melt in your mouth.
Yes.
And then, but in the summer, it's, going to be 80 something today.
Right.
So we do lollipops and other sweet candies that are,
That's really sweet.
And we're learning we should probably always put lollipops in them.
Okay.
Yeah, if you think about it long enough, you'll figure out.
Oh.
And feminine white, which they love and want to know. Do you have more of those? And what else do we put in there? Funny, my mind just kind of went blank, but we put
it.
several
It's a mix of practical and fun.
So one thing that I need to have our community group do again is we write them cards. So it's just a handwritten card that, of all the same kind of things that we will say to them. And what Carol saw when we were walking down the street, she saw the girl, I didn't see her, open it up and just be looking at the card. And she goes, "Oh, I think those are really meaningful. You need to keep doing those." So we need to
getting handwritten cards.
Yeah, so we recently used all those up. So my group needs to write some more. And I should have thought of this ahead of time, but several little fun things in there. I just bought some heart earrings, like 6 pair, and trying to figure out how to put them in. And
that's really sweet.
Inspired by treasures.
Yeah.
Just try to put some fun things in there that they'll go, "Oh, that's really fun. Oh, I can't believe they put that in there."
Right. Like
one girl one time said, she goes, "Oh, no, I don't want one." And then as I'm walking over and talking to another girl, she goes, "Well, how much are they?"
Oh.
And I go, "Oh, it's a gift for you." And she goes, "Oh," she was just like, she thought I was peddling around,
I love what you're describing because it's a mix of practical, it's a mix of fun, and it's a mix of letting them know their worth. I always think of like the Imago Dei, that they are made in the image of God and that they have his fingerprints. You know what I mean? And everyone's precious in the eyes of God. And for some people, they've never been told that.
Yeah, especially the marginalized.
Yes.
I mean,
that's
they
to
feel
seek and save the lost.
Yeah, and they feel just completely like they're probably the scum of the earth and have so much shame, but yet they have to sell themselves and smile and
Right.
wave. You always know right away if it's a girl because they're
Right.
waving and,
Mhm.
trying to get attention. And a lot of that
Yeah.
is because they're
Yeah.
expected to be bringing back a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And so,
Right. Yeah.
they'll be in trouble. And
For
so,
sure.
yeah,
Your husband mentioned off camera that like one of the biggest prayer requests you get is for
yes,
safety.
safety or for their children or for once in a while it's a family member,
Mhm.
but most of the time it's for safety.
Wow. Wow. I don't think it's a safe profession, and you hear a lot of women being beat up or worse, and like do you keep these women like their names and
Oh,
keep
yes.
track of
We
that?
have their
And
names. We write little notes about them.
yeah.
Oh, they took a purse. Oh, they
Mhm.
said this, or,
Mhm.
this is their prayer request. And there's a gal at Bridgetown that
Mhm.
loves to pray
Yeah.
for the women. So we send her the information every week. And then also, we have a prayer meeting every Friday morning
Wow.
at 9 a.m. at the church that is
Wow.
surrounded. Okay, there's a church over here.
Yeah.
One day I was walking across from the church to Sylvia's strip club across the street, and I went, oh, there's a church right here. This
Mm.
strip club, this strip club,
Mhm.
the motel that they bring them all to,
Wow.
and what else? There was something. Oh, there was a barista stand, a
Yeah.
bikini barista stand for a little
Yeah.
while. And I thought, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And so I drug my husband to church there one day, and
Right.
we met. God sat us right next to the people that we needed to talk to,
Wow.
and nobody in the church, unfortunately, there's only a couple people in the church that are even besides them, they're even interested. Most of the people don't live in the neighborhood
Okay.
or they'll end up leaving because it's such bad, you
Right.
got girls being
Right.
trafficked as you're going into
Right.
church.
Right.
And so,
Which is like that should be the things that you're just like as a Christian, like, oh my gosh, like let's do something, like let's love these people. But it's like, oh, that doesn't look good. That doesn't make me feel good. Kind
yeah.
of,
Yeah. And plus,
yeah.
you have the wrong idea that Hollywood's told you, or you think these girls
Yes.
are,
Right.
just bad girls out there doing this.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's that's why they've had the police come 2 different times now to talk about it, to train, and they're trying to get people from
Mm,
church to come to learn
yeah.
that these girls are coerced
Yeah. For
and
sure.
so, yeah, and I can't remember what your original question is. One of the things I
No,
do a lot is I
the
start
safety.
talking and go off to something else.
No, you're amazing. I was just bringing up the safety, but I think that you
Oh,
answered
yeah.
that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
something that I was saying off camera again, just in this little break here, but I'm personally so inspired because as I said earlier, something that I've always felt really passionately about is like wanting to help women who have, been forced into this sex trafficking, or even if they've chosen it, whatever the circumstances are.
Mhm.
But and during COVID, I tried to kind of get involved, and it was like a lot of closed doors. There was
Mhm.
a ton of volunteers, and you were, very astutely saying that that's actually when it really exploded, when they probably could have really used the help. But what I love is like with what you're doing, it's literally just like you started this. Like it's not like you went and joined something. Like you just started something, and you on your own are just like taking that initiative with God to go out and bless these women. I just think that personally inspires me so much, and I'm sure for people listening, it's like this idea that it's like of course it's amazing to volunteer for organizations, and they need volunteers, but it's also like God can and will equip you right now to do
Mhm.
what he is calling you to do. And sometimes that's going to look like stepping out in faith on your own.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, I just really applaud you for that. It's really
Mhm.
inspiring. And I love when people follow what God's actually like asking them to do, because it's like really easy to kind of get that little whatever going on in your spirit, that stirring of like, oh, I feel something about that. I feel like God's like wanting me to do something about it, but then just be like, ah, well, this logical reason or this reason or this reason, and kind of like not do something. But you know, what was that like moment where you just actually like went out there and did something for the first
Oh,
time?
man, it was funny looking back on it in the way that there was nothing that was gonna stop me, and
Mm,
I didn't even pray first.
mm.
I mean, I was coming home from my daughters. My husband, Bob, was home. He is a retired police officer, so that's the last
Wow.
thing I thought he'd want me to do, and so I, um, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna take Hachi for a walk," and I put a leash on the dog and ran out there, and, I remembered what road she was, so I went down a back road and then
Yeah.
came out, and it was the first gal, and it went well, and I was just so excited, and I thought, man, I should have prayed about that. But yeah, so in fact, I did it for quite a few weeks before I told my husband what I was doing, because there was nothing that was going to stop me.
Wow.
And then when he did find out, he thought that was great. So
Oh,
I was
wonderful.
really glad that he was behind it, and he's been behind it the whole way. So it's been really great.
Incredible.
But I thought he'd be like, "You're not going out there."
Right. Yeah. And what are like some God moments that have like happened? Like you've described a few just like in talking about like, people sharing their names with you and things like that. Like, is there any like particular like stories that really touch you and like, something that keeps you going? Like,
Well, I just recently read 2 or 3 books that are the story of gals that have been sex trafficked, and it just breaks my heart. I mean, it just breaks my heart to hear read these individual stories, and I'm just so glad that God is using them to start these big ministries that they have, and the one gal goes to a lot of schools, and anyway, so it's really great to see how God is using people like the gal in Treasures that's been in it to make a difference. But it just breaks my heart. So I think the more stories I hear that way. Another most of the time I'm dreading a little bit during the day that I'm going out.
Right.
I'd really love somebody to go out every night of the week. And maybe I need to go out more nights of the week, but that's what I'm doing right now. And I'd love to have a team every night.
Yeah.
And we just discussed, there's 4 of us, and we just discussed, we've had women come and go.
Yeah.
But we just discussed that as it's going to be getting darker, that two of the ladies have, they both work. So it's going to work better for them. We don't go out when it's dark. It's going to work better for them to do Saturdays. And so that'll make 2 days, because we'll continue to do it, earlier in the day.
Wow.
But anyway, I was getting to this point where I was like, oh, Lord, are we making any difference? Is any, and so there was a murder down the street, which happens here and there. Can't remember exactly what had happened there, but it was just right out there on Sandy, a couple blocks down, and 82nd. And so the word got out that there was a meeting at the little Mexican restaurant down here, but it was a night of our community group, and I couldn't go, that the police were going to come and talk to the neighbors about what had happened. And it's just a small unit of people that learned that from them that have gotten, Anyway, so I guess it wasn't a very big meeting. It's interesting that more people don't care about, I think they care, but don't want to get involved with what's going on in their neighborhood. But anyway, so the next morning I texted the main gal at the church and said, okay, what happened at the meeting? I'm dying to know. What did they know? And blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, one thing you're going to want to know is that there was a girl on the street, one of the girls being trafficked, that wanted help from the police.
Wow.
And so they took her and got her an advocate. And she said, when they mentioned an advocate, she goes, is it going to be those nice ladies that pray with us?
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, she wanted us.
Wow.
And that just was so powerful at a time where I was just feeling like, Lord, is this,
for sure,
should we keep going out? And, and that was the answer. Yes. Don't ever quit.
You're planting seed. You're making people feel safe and loved, and you're practically loving your neighbors. Like, even though they're the marginalized people that are difficult to love, it's not as, easy as just going up to some person, and loving them. Like it's there's a lot of challenges there, even safety challenges for you guys. So, I absolutely applaud what you guys are doing. I think it's amazing. And, it's interesting because oh my gosh, I just lost my, well, that happens.
When another thought comes in at the same time and takes over.
Yeah, it happens to me shockingly more than I would like it to happen.
Me too. I think it happens to everybody. But some people are quicker on their feet to go do the next thing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's not me, unfortunately. But so I mean, a question that I had thought about beforehand from our friend Hannah Chung. She's an incredible storyteller, and she had thought of some questions beforehand. But one of the ones that she had that really stuck with Luke and I was like, what is your prayer for the marginalized women and sex trafficked women in Portland?
My prayer for them is that they will know that they're valued enough to get out, because it takes some strategic things for them to be able to get out, especially if they have children, which I think a lot of them do.
Right.
I think that from what I've read and stuff, I think that's just another ploy to have them,
Right.
have a child with them.
Manipulate.
And so just because I think once they realize that, they get to a point where they realize, oh, he doesn't really love me. He's with this gal now.
Yeah.
One of the testimonies I heard was that she came home for spending time in jail. This was a gal that gave a testimony up at Rest in Seattle. It was an in-person one. She spent all this time in jail for him.
Right.
And then she comes back and she has his baby because she was pregnant in jail.
Right.
And he's in the bedroom with another girl and she's sleeping on the couch. And all of a sudden, that's finally when it hit her.
Wow.
He doesn't love me. So, so that my prayer is that of course, I would love them to come and know Jesus.
Yeah.
And change their life around and just see, the good things.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what they're craving? They're craving that relationship with Jesus, who can only love us well.
Right.
No human being can love us how we really want to
sure.
be loved. Only Jesus. And that's what they're craving. So I pray that we pray for that. But I think the first initial one is that our whole goal is for them to feel valued and for them to go. Because I just keep thinking of the gal's story from Treasures. She felt like, oh, maybe I do have some value.
Yeah.
And gave her the strength to figure out a way to get out. And
I think of a similar story I know of where someone was given a gift and that was just like life-changing because they hadn't really been given a gift without strings attached. And it just was like, oh, wow, I'm worth giving a gift to. That's, so I think that's just incredibly powerful. And, as we're sharing this, like, how can people be praying for you guys? How can people support you? I mean, if there's anybody in the Portland area watching and they want to join, like, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, you can give out my phone number to anybody that wants it. My email address, my phone number. I would love to meet with them. They can, they can crochet purses. Jody would love help with that. She's done all of them.
Wow.
And they can.
That's a lot of purses. I crochet, so I know how long things
she
like that take.
She probably does like 4 a week.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's just on fire.
How did you get volunteers to begin with?
Well, the very first volunteer was because our JT, Bob, what's JT's last name? JT Thomas has this amazing ministry called Civil Righteousness.
Yeah.
And it's so great. And our church borrowed him from his ministry to help set up some really great justice things for us to do in the city.
Yeah.
Because we're always being inspired to do that sort of thing. And so he set up about 12 different areas in Portland that he just really felt like needed prayer. So he set us up, right on Sandy. And one of the places was right here on Sandy and 82nd. And the hotel that it was at is now closed because it was so many bad things going on there. But anyway, we prayed 12, maybe 8 to 12 weeks in a row. And one day a girl was going by, it was maybe like the 4th weekend. And I just said, hey, you guys, at the end, I said, just really pray for the girls in this area too, because, there's a lot of sex trafficking going on. And I go out and pray with them. And right away, Carol, who is older than me, like I'm 66 and she's probably 70 something. And she goes, oh my goodness, afterwards, she goes, I want to help. And what are you doing? And I go, I'm like giving him a candy bar. And she goes, oh, we could give him this and we could give him that. And she just really inspired me. She goes, I can't go out, but I can give stuff to you. So every week she just kept bringing me more little things and stuff. And then she said, I have to go out.
Yeah.
And she had not had any of those things before, but just seeing them because she drives down 82nd also. So it was people in the neighborhood that go to Bridgetown in our neighborhood were the ones that were going there prayers, like 14 people or something. And so she was my first one.
Wow, that's
so then I had a partner to go out there with. And she is
just
faithful
so nice.
like you would. I mean, she just organizes us and she's great.
Wow.
So was that the question?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm like, how did you get volunteers? If you don't have like a website and stuff and it's not like an official organization.
No, it's just
so it's word of mouth.
Then at prayer meetings at Bridgetown, a few women have wanted to get involved. That's how we
Yeah.
started a prayer group. Was as soon as Laura heard about it, she was like, "Oh, we need prayer. That's the first thing we need. We need a prayer hour." And we started that at
Right.
Bridgetown, and then
That's beautiful.
we moved it to the church around the
Right.
corner, which it's just such a blessing to have this
Yeah.
relationship with them and to give them hope, because they were really, this couple was really kind of having a hard time, losing hope. We have a homeless group of about 8 people here in this neighborhood.
Okay.
That the rule in Portland is somebody complains about them having their little camp there, and then they have 3 weeks to move it. They'll come and post the 3-week sign, and then the city comes and moves them. Where do you want to move to? And so then wherever they are, they complain. And so that's kind of what Portland's doing right now.
Right.
But these to Portland, these folks don't want to go and live somewhere. I've talked to them a lot now, and so Mark, who's at this church, is at his wit's end, knowing what to do and what not to do with them, and he doesn't want to get upset with them, and he wants to pray for them, and so we've just had this, I don't know, at least a couple years every Friday. And it's just been so encouraging to him. And it's just been a really great relationship with people in my neighborhood. It's their neighborhood too. So, it makes a big difference to them.
I mean, this is what life is all about, right? Yeah. It's like, loving God, loving others.
Yeah.
Like, this is his greatest commandments to us.
And then, so Julie goes out, and then another gal from their church. And then through the years, different people have, but then they've moved to a job or whatever that they're not able to. And so,
Wow.
So it's just been very, what's the word? Organic.
Yes. I love that. And I love your faithfulness. You're saying like, oh, should I even continue? But I love that, it's like, even though it's not like people coming to Jesus every time we go out, you're still keeping faithful. And it's like so many times, even when you look at like, the history of things going on in the church, a lot of people didn't even see the fruits of their labor in their lifetime. You know what I mean? So it's just about being faithful. It's like, even with what we're doing with No Shortage, it's like something we feel like God just keeps saying is like, it's up to us to be obedient, and the results are up to him. You know what I mean? And that's
telling stories is so great, because that's what inspires other people. And that's how I got inspired, was by stories of people's lives. And
for sure. I mean, I'm so inspired. I'm like, I wish I want to live in Portland.
I want to be
in the Friday prayer meetings and go out with you guys. So, but yeah, I don't know if there's anything else.
Well, I guess, when we were talking about as it is in heaven, as it is in earth, and caring about the marginalized, and going out and doing that, loving our neighbor, a really great inspiration that has been helpful all the time is Bible Project. And the one of the very first videos they released is Heaven and Earth. And kind of one of the main things about it is, when Jesus was on earth, he was making purple spots wherever he was. And he was it was like there was no, it was heaven coming to earth. And so I just feel like that's what we're doing when we're out there on this street that's kind of scary, and even during the daytime can be scary. We're just bringing heaven spots to earth. And and then at another prayer meeting we got to do, one of our pastors said, I just have this sense that when you women are walking down those streets, that the evil one is trembling.
Yes.
And that just gives me so much joy.
Yes.
So tremble on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're gonna tread on his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's just a toothless lion. He doesn't. There's power in Christ, and it's like what you're doing is powerful, and it's not because of you personally. It's just because you're letting God do something.
I would,
through you.
I would also just love to see a men's ministry start out where men would be able to talk to the Johns, because they are out there. I'm seeing girls. Monday night, there was a gal that we had just talked to, and a car came around to talk to her. And quite often you see this, there's no negotiation that's been had.
Right.
But quite often they jump in the car. And I just think, men with a sign that says, signs maybe, I don't know what, just saying, don't use women, or just different things. Because
I remember watching a documentary. I cannot remember the name, but it was about sex trafficking. It was so impactful. I should send it to you if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
But it was so powerful because they had one or two guys on there who were, pimps or whatever, and they had come to Jesus, and like their testimonies were so beautiful. And it's like the restoration that happened. I mean, a lot of them have been abused too, probably.
Oh
They
yeah.
never learned how to respect women or, be a functioning member of society. They probably didn't have a great
Well,
example either.
what little boy wants to grow up
Right.
and be a pimp?
Right. Nobody.
Nobody. What
Right.
little boy wants to
Yeah.
grow up and be addicted to sex and use
Yeah.
women?
For
Nobody.
sure.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to do this.
Yeah.
And those women don't want to
Right.
grow up and be out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And so
It's just
they're just
brokenness the
all
whole way through.
broken people.
Right.
And
And we're
so,
all
yeah,
broken people.
yes, we're all broken people. And I just would love to see
Yeah.
those men come to know Jesus and have those testimonies
Absolutely. Yeah.
and be out there not by themselves, but a couple at a
Right.
time to
Yeah.
just,
Totally.
because they're
For
going to get a
sure.
chance, or maybe the men won't come around as much. I don't
I'm
know.
sure a lot of the men who are doing this in their actual true heart of hearts don't
Oh
actually
no,
want to be
they don't
doing
want. There's
this.
no fulfillment in that.
No, like it's literally sin, it's addiction, it's, brokenness. It's not their true
No.
self that God actually made them to be. So I'm sure there would be something that would touch
Oh,
the people,
absolutely. And that's just, again, every one of our desires that go bad, mine,
Mhm.
everybody's.
Mhm.
It's just what we really want is
Yeah,
to be loved by God, by
absolutely.
God who knows all those
Yeah.
things about us and loves us anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Sure. I think that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. It's so impactful. And once again, you've inspired me so much. I'm so grateful that we've had the chance to talk to you. And I know certainly there's going to be people out there that are just also incredibly inspired and are going to go and do things in their community because this is what life is about.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And we have, no matter what community we live in, we have people that are hurting
Yep.
and need. It might just be an old couple, live two
Yes.
houses down, whatever it
Mhm.
is. There's always people
Yeah.
that need encouragement.
Right. Right. And it's like what God's going to put on everyone's heart is going to be different. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? For someone, it might be that old couple down the road or the retirement home that has lonely people just
Yeah.
sitting and eating by themselves. And for some, it's going to be going to 82nd Street and,
Mhm.
bringing heaven to earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for taking the time to do this, because I love good stories being told,
Mm,
because it gives hope to everybody.
yeah.
And today's,
Yeah.
we just don't hear a lot of good stories. So
That's like our whole mission is like, man, it's
yeah,
just sad out there. Like, what's God doing that's like redemptive?
yes,
And it's in the mess of everyday life. It's not like perfect. It's
yeah,
just, but it's beautiful and it's hopeful.
yeah. I'm excited to watch your
Aw,
stories.
Thank you. All right. Well,
Bye.